Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. We are on some map, and we're top tier in the Schlieffen, a German legendary tier battleship. Boy, if I could only remember the name of this map. The Atlantic, maybe? Anyway, I would still love to bring you a Montana video at some time, but I'm really not playing this game very much at all. And to be honest, it's going to be hypocritical when I say why I'm not playing it as much, because it's just terrible gameplay and it's so bad, especially destroyers. When you're not in a destroyer, the destroyer play is so bad. It's just an enormous turnoff. But the real reason that I think myself and a lot of other players don't play this game as much anymore is that it's become pay to win. And my commander in this match is a perfect example of a pay to win commander. Now, in the past, there have been other pay to win commanders that are clearly better than the tech tree commanders. You know, an example of that might be Space Fishy. Japanese destroyer commander gives a huge boost to torpedo speed. You know, that's an example. You could look at Azur Lane, New Jersey, and say, yeah, the enhanced damage to citadels makes that a commander better suited to do more damage than, say, William Sims. You know, so our commander in this match is Izayoi Nonomi. And here's why Izayoi Nonomi is a pay-to-win commander, because if you're in a battleship that has good secondaries like Schlieffen or Brandenburg might be another example, or maybe even if you go down to tier 3 and put this thing in the tier 3 German battleship that I'm forgetting the name of, it'd just be super, super overpowered. And here's why: because you can do more with the secondaries than you can with the regular commander. And I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. It's not the Kaiser. What ship is it? Nassau. All right. So here's why. So this commander's base trait is called Squeaky Clean Sweep. When it's fully maxed out, my commander's at level 13, legendary level 2. When it's fully maxed out at 16 and 4, minus 5% secondary battery reload time, plus 8% damage against battleships. Row number 1, it has all the skills available. In this build, I'm using not the one for nuisance, but you also have choices between no-fly zone, brawler, or a good day's work. In row 2 is where business starts to pick up. Row 2, you get your choice between highly educated crew or porcupine. We chose highly educated crew when it's maxed out, plus 15% secondary gun range, plus 2 damage control party charges, which you need for this ship because you have a limited amount. In row 3, a unique skill called Punishment Time. It says minus 0.4% cooldown time of current enhanced secondary targeting charge for every secondary battery hit. So when it's maxed out, after 5 secondary battery hits, it's going to take off 2%. That's probably the best way to explain that. So if you're getting, I'm going to need a calculator. Let me avoid getting my mouth into trouble here. All right. So if we said 2 seconds shorter recharge for every 5 hits, if you got 200 hits times 2 seconds, 400 seconds quicker recharge, we'll divide that by 60. 6. So 6.6 and 2/3. It could speed it up enough to where you might not get through a whole match and be able to burn through all of your secondary battery charges. All right, I think that's significant. All right, in row 4, properly meticulous, minus 15% secondary battery reload time, plus 40% duration of enhanced secondary targeting, minus 12% dispersion, plus 20% survivability. So your guns will stay in the match, your secondary guns will stay in the match longer. They will be more accurate, they will reload quicker, and in addition to having a shorter cooldown time, your enhanced secondary targeting charges are going to run longer. And finally, your legendary skills include secondary interest, minus 35% cooldown time, plus 2 additional charges when it's fully maxed out, minus 7% to the following: dispersion, reload time, main battery reload time. So I think you can see when fully maxed out, once you engage in battle and you start getting like 100 hits with your secondary batteries, you are going to have more secondary battery charges. They're going to run longer. They're going to be more accurate. They're going to be more resistant to damage. And there's going to be a shorter cooldown time in between their uses. Now, again, my commander's only 13.2 here, so it's not anywhere close to where it needs to be to have that significant impact. But that being said, this is an example of how no commander that's free to use, free to rank up, would ever be able to have this kind of impact with the secondaries that this pay-to-win commander does. And they're not the only one. There were a lot of other commanders out there. I didn't buy any of them except for the British Destroyer one, simply because there's another great example of paying to win. The British commanders weren't gunboat commanders. But if you pay 5,000 dubs, now you got a gunboat commander. Don't worry. When I rank that guy up, we'll do another video on that guy. Right now, we're just focusing on the secondary build. But I got to tell you, I think it's OP. I really do. And I think you're seeing, maybe not directly visible, but when we describe what it does, lengthen the current charge, slow down the recharge, make them more accurate, make them more apt to survive. Here we're just going to turn away from the wounded ship and we're going to finish them off with an arsonist medal. We burned them down. And we burned them down because our secondaries kept hitting him. And they did that quickly because we made them cool down quicker and last longer when we hit that enhanced secondary charge. All right. Our team didn't do a lot of good stuff in this match. So, yes, we're still alive, but we are down 3-5. And right now I'm just hoping to try to take out the Alaska, who is shooting for my turrets very accurately, I might add, and they're getting all sorts of knocked out. We got a Minotaur over here. I'm actually going to ignore the Alaska. You can see I got my legendary secondary skill going on. We are going to try to take out Minotaur. And as you can see, fire is raining down upon the Minotaur. I want to say with this build, my secondary battery reaches out maybe to 13.1. I didn't go into the port and screen cap it because I want to show that when it's fully maxed out. But I just want to say that I think it's pretty obvious now that wargaming is in their pay-to-win era. And in order to compete at the very top level with some of these builds, you're going to have to get out the wallet because there are plenty of people buying these commanders and they have the resources to rank them all the way up and use them. All right, we don't get a kill there either. I'm waiting, and I don't think my torpedoes are going to recharge. And right when I turn here, I think they reload. So, whoops. But I'm close to death. The Alaska is going to finish me off. He has tons of health. All I can do is get close enough to put my torps on target and hope they do the job. We're going to turn back here, hoping it's maybe a little bit better of an angle to get shot at. And I don't know. I'm trying to turn in because I think he's turning in. We blocked some friendly torpedoes. There was no way around it. I'm trying to turn back here, but he's just going to go right through my bow plating, and it's going to be all she wrote here in a second. But yeah, I don't know if you agree with me. You know, I think it's pretty obvious that the pay commanders are going to get better and better, and the free-to-use commanders are just going to be victims of power creep, much in the same way that a lot of the premium ships power creep the tech tree ships. And the one good thing about World of Tanks is that, in theory, the premium tanks were not as good as the tech tree tanks. All right, we are going to end up here with the arsonist medal and the other medal, which I can't remember the name of, and 135K. We had 249 secondary battery hits. So plugging that into the calculator, when we're fully maxed out, we'll just round it up and say 250. We're going to divide that by 5. So that would reduce the cooldown time by 50. I think it would be, 50 times 2? Because it's 5 hits for every 2 seconds. So 50 times 2 equals 100. So we're talking about a pretty significant reduction. 2 minutes is 120. So what is that? Like 4/5? God, I'm terrible. I really, really am. Anyway, it's significant in my opinion. And I think it's concerning that this game is going to become more and more pay to win. And when I roll out that British gunboat commander, we'll really know. Again, I don't have it as high up as this commander, so I'm waiting until I get it advanced a little bit further along. But I will bring you videos of both of these commanders when they are fully maxed out, so we can see the true impact. But, pardon me, I would submit to you that it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And they're going to have to keep making these pay commanders better and better and better, because they're going to have to incentivize a reason for people to buy them. Right? And yes, I fell for that. I bought 2 of them to test them out for you guys. But that being said, any ship that has good secondary batteries, believe me, Zoe Wafflepoof or whatever her name is a Yoi Nanomi is going in that ship. And I don't care if it's the Nassau or the Schlieffen or the Brandenburg or whatever. It's going in that ship, right? And anything gunboaty related closely in Britain is getting that gunboat commander. And it's basically taking all the resources you put into the free commanders and making those resources wasted. I really complained about this a very, very, very long time ago when I said in a video that introducing Albert Gleaves made Arleigh obsolete. I believe that when they introduced the gunboat commander during Rust and Rumble, Mordoff, that they made Bull Halsey obsolete. I firmly believe that. And so you're just going to see more and more of that. More and more tech tree commanders becoming rendered obsolete by pay-to-win commanders. And it's not the kind of thing that you're going to notice day in and day out, but it's the kind of thing that's going to let the good players who can afford these pay-to-win commanders, if it's evenly matched in terms of skill between 2 players, whichever one has the higher ranked pay commander will probably be the victor. And that might not matter in just regular gameplay, but it's going to matter a lot in any kind of competitive gameplay, brawls, stuff like that, the fleet battles, any kind of gaming, competitive esports. it's going to make a big difference. And I just can't endorse their strategy. I've said it before in many videos. In no way should a pay commander be better than a commander who actually fought in World War II or World War I. All right, we're going to go here into the port. You've already seen me talk about what we did damage-wise. A couple of medals, 1 kill, a couple of assisted kills, 248 secondary battery hits, 1 torpedo strike. We ended up with 135k damage with Izayoi Nanomi in the Schlieffen. Carry this commander down to any other secondary focused German battleship. I'd be willing to bet your results are great. I don't think that is right by any stretch of the imagination, but Wargaming is a company designed to make money, and this is how they're going to do it. They're just going to keep introducing pay-to-win commanders, and they're going to keep getting better. Just one man's opinion. Love to hear what you think in the comments. Let me know. I'll see you next time, everybody.